Okay, let's start. Thank you everyone for joining and good afternoon. Welcome to our webinar, Win the Holiday Rush Q4 game plan for Amazon Global Sellers, specifically brought to you by BRISKPE. As we are heading into the busiest quarter for e-commerce, and this is when Indian sellers tap the global demand coming from US, UK, and Europe through Amazon's global marketplace. I'm Indunath Chaudhary, your host, co-founder and CEO of BRISKPE. And at BRISKPE, we help Indian exporters and Amazon sellers to receive international payments seamlessly, securely, with fully compliant Indian regulation. So you focus on selling and not on chasing settlement. This is not a sales pitch. We will try to ensure that we only talk about facts, figures from all three of us, and so that you can grow your business. We have two fantastic speakers today with us, Mr. Ketan Bagga, who does not know him, who is working with the Amazon for long. He has worked with Amazon for long, and he has had lakhs of sellers optimized for global markets, and he knows exactly what Amazon seller expects, what Amazon expects from the sellers during this peak season and what you should exactly do. Our second speaker, Devanshu Jain from Devirt Consultancy. He has also helped thousands of Amazon sellers, other marketplace sellers, help scale globally with the help of their consulting approach, strategic approach, wherein they focus on how you expand your footprints, how you distribute your goods in different parts of the world through marketplaces. Welcome, Ketan. Welcome, Devanshu. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks,
Thanks,
Indra.
thanks everyone for joining in. Looking forward for this interaction.
Okay, so without wasting time, as we have already waited for 5 minutes before starting the call, let's begin with the big picture. Black Friday and Christmas, the big upcoming event, are massive globally. And what makes this window so powerful for Indian sellers in particular? Ketan, let me start with you. From
Sure.
your Amazon experience,
Yeah.
how do global shoppers behave during this session? And what should Indian sellers know exactly about timing and preparation?
Got it. So if you think about it, Christmas is the biggest holiday, in US and across the globe outside India. And Black Friday, Cyber Monday, they have not been only US events, but over a period of time, they have transformed into global events of sorts, right? Even Indian, companies have started doing Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales. That's primarily because the volume that Amazon or any other e-commerce channel in US drives during this particular period is significantly higher as compared to what we drive in India even during Diwali festival or during Republic Day sales. So overall, if I just talk about numbers, like I think there was a 2022 or 2023 report that said that during Black Friday and Cyber Monday events, almost one third of US was shopping on Amazon at one given point in time. So one third of US, you can imagine, the kind of volume that sellers, can expect during these particular events. So in terms of volume, it's again the best and the biggest season that sellers can look forward to. In terms of preparation, of course, like we definitely recommend sellers to pre-plan their inventory, because if they are shipping from India, it has a timeline attached to it, whether it's by air or by sea. So generally 2 to 3 months in advance, sellers start shipping the goods for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Then we recommend them to participate or have a mindset towards promoting and advertising these products during the Black Friday, Cyber Monday window. But in short, I think we'll cover some of those aspects in detail, in the second part of the webinar. But I think in short, you can expect at least 4 to 5x of volume what you're doing in your current months. For Amazon global sellers, as far as I have seen over the last 10 years of working extensively with sellers, I've seen that almost 40% of their volume comes from Q4. If I split the year in 4 parts, so 60% comes from January to September, and October, November, December will contribute around 40%, which is a huge chunk, for the global sellers selling from India.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Ketan, for that beautiful insight. Lot of our attendees might be the newer ones or who may have started a couple of years back. One of the critical aspect, as you mentioned, we are looking at 4x, 5x sales, and 40% of the contribution comes from this season. So plan has to start in advance. While we are pretty close to the upcoming sales season, there could still be, scope of improvement. Devanshu, my question from you, as we are still in preparation season, the season has not kicked in. What are some of the most common mistakes that a seller makes during a peak season preparation, and how can they avoid it?
Right. So, some of the common mistakes that I have seen during all these, 10, 12 years of working with Amazon is one is like the inventory forecast, right? That is one place because you cannot have, over inventory. You cannot have, limited inventory because again, you don't know what kind of spike will happen. So we need to make sure that we have the right amount of inventory because it's not just about Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It's also about the continuous sale that will happen till 20th of December.
Right.
So like from 20th of November, the season will start, the sales will start. So it will be almost a month's time. The traffic will be high on the platform. So we need to make sure that we have ample inventory in place. If still like if people they don't have much inventory, they can send it by air and the products will reach maybe like in 15 days, 20 days to the max, and they can still have some products available for the last leg of the the whole season. Second thing that I see is a lot of sellers they go a little slow before the event. Let's say the event is starting from 20th, so they say that okay the traffic will go down. Because this is the general practice, and a lot of thing that we see from the Indian side as well. Like when
Mm-hmm.
sales happens in India, a lot of sellers they reduce their burn. They say that okay let us reduce the advertisement spend and we'll do it during the season time. But this is a good time, like from today, that is from 12th to 20th, to spend a little to make sure that the ratings, the BSRs are better, so that by 20th, the product should have some organic visibility, like whatever they are selling. So these are some mistakes that we see more, we can discuss later during this webinar. Yeah.
Absolutely, and thanks a lot for these two critical insights that you mentioned. That inventory forecast is very critical because when orders start coming, you have to ensure that inventory is available. At the
Yeah.
same time, you cannot afford to have lesser inventory if there are higher orders, and you cannot have an idle inventory as well if it is not sold. Thanks for that beautiful
And
insight.
one more thing I would like to add here is, let's say if there are certain ASINs, right, which are going out of stock, which you know that they will definitely go out of stock. So even like
Right,
on Black Friday, you get good sales, but now the inventory forecast says that the product will go out of stock within 7 days,
right.
and you don't have inventory coming in. So maybe at that time you can stop the deals on those products. You can cash on those items at least for the time. You can sell it in 10 days rather than in 2 days. So that is also one way of looking at things, and sellers should definitely follow that.
I think that's a very
Fantastic.
interesting point. And on the counter side, if you have inventory that you've been waiting to liquidate for last 1 year, where you are paying excess, storage cost to Amazon, a lot of sellers try to wait just for the Black Friday or Cyber Monday day to run a deal so that they can liquidate. But what will happen is, as Divanshu mentioned, starting 20th November till 20th December, you have an opportunity window of 1 month to liquidate some of your excess inventory. So don't just wait for Black Friday. Start promoting those SKUs. If you want to run a deal even before Black Friday, Cyber Monday, start doing that, because on those 2 days you can expect 4 to 5x of sales. But even
Mhm.
within November 20th to December 20th, you can liquidate a lot of inventory if you plan it right. And we generally recommend sellers to start new year with fresh inventory, because otherwise what will happen is, this inventory, if it doesn't get sold out, the excess inventory in November December, it may not be selling in the next 6 7 months, because the season will change, the trends will change, and everything. So highly recommended to try to cash out on the inventory which you have at hand right now. And if you don't have enough inventory, as Devanshu mentioned, not necessary to run deals, because traffic will be very high and you will be able to make use of the traffic to convert your listings.
Very, very critical insight that Devanshu and Ketan, both of you have brought in. And if I may take liberty of switching between the languages, हमने अपने रोड साइड मार्केट पे भी ये चीज देखी है। अगर माल जल्दी बिकने लगता है तो आपके पास दो ऑप्शन है, या तो आप मार्जिन पे सेटिस्फाई हो जाओ और माल बेच के निकल जाओ, और यू manage the rate because you have to stay till the evening, till the goods last, and you are able to make higher margins. So some of the cost elements are also very critical. Uh, अगर माल नहीं बिक रहा है, then you have to put up discounts. Maybe we will do a deep dive into that. And if goods are selling pretty fast, maybe you can hold on and get better margins. And that's the reason topic of this webinar is win the holiday rush.
Yeah.
Ultimate objective is winning this holiday rush, irrespective of what quantity we have, how much quantity we have, and how the sales are going. So let's with that deep insight from Devanshu and Ketan, let's do a further deep dive into what to do, particularly some of the finer aspects during this season. What should be done? as the traffic will be shooting up, there will be multiple competitors or players or merchants who will be giving offers, be it Indian, be it overseas sellers. They will be giving various offers, different kind of discounts and all. So Divanshu, I'll ask you if we can summarize what could be the three top listing improvements you would recommend to any merchant who is selling during this holiday season, specifically for sellers targeting to US and UK.
Correct. So I think like the first and the most important thing would be like to have good use of the A plus pages and the storefront that the sellers are having, to have tags on the product. They can put a Black Friday Cyber Monday discount banner on the top of the storefront. They can have similar things on the A plus pages as well, because customer gets excited. In US, like see, in India we have so many sales that keeps on coming in, and in US
Right.
like this period is something that a lot of people they wait for the Christmas season to buy products. So it's a good time to show product that okay, we are running discounts, and the sales are live. That is one thing that I feel. Second is like on the product, on the first image of the product, a lot of sellers, what they can do is they can put a tag on the product. Don't make it too far, otherwise Amazon might suppress the images. Don't do it on the last day or before, just before the the sale period, because again the suppression issue might happen. But still they can have a tag of the product, tag on the product showing that okay, Black Friday Cyber Monday sale live or something like that. That also, because the first photo, a lot of customer, if the competitors are not doing it and you have it, so there is a high chance of getting a click on the product. Another thing is like putting right set of keywords using the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and all these tags, Black Friday, Prime Day, and a lot of other tags are there which are important. Definitely put it on the listings to make sure that the products are somewhere they are getting indexed on those particular set of keywords. And yes, after the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or after the season, make sure that you remove that also. So Thanksgiving, Christmas holidays, sale, bulk discount, all these, there are certain set of keywords which anyone can get from brand analytics or from Helium 10. They can get the set of these generic keywords, and they can put it on the listing. It definitely helps. Another thing is the deals. Since, as I said, like a lot of people, they come to see the discount. In India, we have the MRP and selling price concept, right? People, product always show slash down prices, right? So we never know actually what's the discount, this brand is offering. But in
Right.
US, most of the time, when you show a discount, people gets excited looking at it. So putting a right mix of deals, coupons, and all these things definitely helps in, scaling the listings during this time.
Yeah, and I think a little more tactical point. I think Devanshu covered, I think, almost all of it, to be honest. But a couple of tactical points you can also add to this would be like, updating your listing price so that Amazon shows a discount on your list price to your current price. That is, one tactical point. Second would be, go through your listings, audit at least once before you're entering the season. Again, as Devanshu mentioned, just before one day, if you try to audit everything, it may be a nightmare to audit all your listings. Try to see that backend you have a lot of options. Let's say in a category like luggage, you may have a color field, you may have a color theme field, you may have a pattern field. Try to fill all of those basic information checks that are there. Then there are fields like whether this product can be gifted. There are a couple of options at the backend. So try to fill as much information in your listing as possible. That will make it more discoverable from algorithms point of view. Outside of it, I think while you are, there may be ASINs where you may not be comfortable offering a lot of discount because of lower margins, or because thin profit margins in general. So what you should ideally do is try to at least run a deal on one of the variations. Generally, we see that there are multiple variations under the same product. There might be different sizes, different colors of the same product. Let's say t-shirt is available in 5 different colors and 5 different sizes. So at least try to figure out that there is one particular color which sells a little less. At least offer some deal on one of the SKUs so that deal traffic can be there on your listings in short term. Because otherwise what will happen is someone else is running a deal, they'll start getting a lot of traffic, you may miss out on that opportunity. So try to at least have one ASIN per variation, or one ASIN, sorry, per parent listing, so that there is enough eyeballs on your listings at the end of the day. And I think optimization is a process that will continuously on go. I've seen a lot of top sellers as well updating their listings like one or two times in 2 or 3 years. Try to audit it from a fresh lens. There may be something happening that let's say last time you updated the listing, the content was not as great. You might have felt that this is the best possible content, but after 6 months, if you review it, you might feel that these images are now outdated. Now AI can create a lot of content for you on your behalf. That's also something I would recommend sellers to try to use if they are getting the right kind of output. So I think, yeah, in general, try to keep the basics right. There are no, there's no rocket science behind it. Algorithm plays in a very, very specific way and direction. If you understand these things will impact your conversion, like nothing like it. Try to have, again, one more thing I would recommend is try to have some set of fresh eyeballs on your listings. Okay. I have worked with a lot of large sellers. Divanshu has worked with a lot of large sellers. And even when we look at their listings, we figure out that, something is missing right now in these listings at times, or so you're not doing something right. As a brand owner, it may feel that it's the best possible listing that can exist, but as soon as you ask someone else to give you a feedback or opinion, I think that is something where you can figure out that you are not doing something which was top of the game plan. So I think maybe have Divanshu or someone from his team can also help you with audit processes. Their team is, I think, inept in these kind of things. So yeah.
Very, very critical insights, Ketan and Devanshu, that you have given, because as a merchant who is selling on the Amazon, whatever, irrespective of your size, as a business owner, your first priority is looking into that, okay, sale should happen. You will do everything that sale is coming to you. And most of the activities stay focused around, manufacturing, inventory, that sufficient goods are there or not. But these are the finer aspects which essentially, convert the sale. So your listing is there, your inventory is there, but conversion is not happening. And Devanshu, I'm really impressed with this particular thing that you mentioned, that you have to update the images. रंगोली हमारे यहाँ पूरे साल बनती है, लेकिन रंगोली के पाउडर पे अगर मैं लिखूंगा रंगोली पाउडर फॉर दिवाली and I'm selling it in Holi, it will not sell. So this
Correct.
this is a very critical parallel that we can draw, that if it is a Black Friday sale, you do mention or tag about Black Friday, and similarly for the other
नहीं,
occasions.
I'm also not just saying it कि ठीक है, मतलब ये करा जा सकता है, मतलब we have seen it in the past. There's these things have brought more attention to the product from the customer point.
Absolutely.
So I would like to take a question like Shikhar Gupta. He has a. Can I take a question right now?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Why
So,
not?
like apart from the two things, like for the VAT and all, like he has mentioned that deals always run on Amazon price due to some reasons. If we need to increase prices and then run deal, what should be the strategy? So, Ketan bhai, you can also correct me, whenever you want. So, Shikhar, what I feel here is, see, earlier, like if I talk about 5 years, before, so we used to increase the price, before just before the season, and we used to run deal, and Amazon used to accept it. Then they increase it to 15 days, 30 days, 45 days. Now they take an historical price on the product if we have to run a deal. So let's say if my price of the product is $30 today, and if I want to run a deal at $30 only, that means by increasing the price to $40 and then slashing it down to 30, so Amazon might not accept it. So what generally in principle, what we do is like, this is a plan that we do, 2 months back with the brand, where we identify some of the products where we say, okay, we're going to increase the price of these products, and for the next 2 months, right, we are not going to reduce it, so that during this deal time we have the liberty to reduce it to the price which is our usual price. Apart from this, if on the last day if we think, okay, let's run the discount, so then we have to do it on the historical lower prices of last 45 days. Generally that is how it happens. And apart from that, earlier, Amazon managers used to run deals directly, from their side, which has also stopped out now on Amazon.com. मतलब सारा का सारा डील आपको खुद ही रन करना पड़ता है फ्रॉम द पैनल. सो इसका कोई डायरेक्ट कोई फिक्स नहीं है, बट रनिंग कूपन्स एंड डील्स एंड डिस्काउंट्स, दिस इज हाउ यू कैन डू इट, प्लानिंग इट वेल इन एडवांस.
So,
I think, yeah,
following
just
up on
adding.
this question only,
Yeah.
Ketan, I
Mhm.
would just
Sure.
like to add a couple of more pointers to
Mhm.
what Shikhar has asked. One is the deals and coupons piece that Devanshu mentioned. I'll do a
Mhm.
deep dive on that, but before that, I would like to understand from you particularly, uh, how do you recommend, or essentially when you talk about the video A plus content which are being put up over Amazon or on the Amazon, what is the impact of these content, and is it worth investing? How would it help in boosting the conversion and other aspects on the Amazon?
No, I think so. Anyone who is selling on e-commerce for last 5 6 years at least, they would understand, the importance of content. Because at the end of the day, ads can only get you traffic, but content will drive your conversion. Okay, so I mean, whenever I start working with any brand, or think Devanshu starts working with any brand, the first thing we audit is not their ads. We first look at, what kind of content have they put across, because content is the primary thing that customer is going to look at, right? Like when you go to a shop in offline mode, you'll see their setup, you'll see the quality of the fabric and everything if you're purchasing something. On Amazon, that's not possible, or on e-commerce, that's not possible. So whatever your content is speaking, that's what the customer will, inherit out of that particular content. And essentially, I have seen, a lot of people trying to also replicate India listings to US. Okay, I'll give you a very small example. 9 10 years ago, when we started Amazon journey from India, I was one of the first folks. So I had a seller who started selling, men's vests on US. Okay, and they replicated their entire India content on Amazon.com, assuming that, the sales will start coming in, and they started like, bidding on keywords like men's vest. Okay, after a few weeks we realized that, this is not a keyword that is searched quite a lot. It's searched like a men's tank tops. Okay, the product is very same, but at the end of the day, it's like categorized in a very different way, or perceived in a different way in the US market. Same way, we call something like a wall hanging, or a, like, bed sheet, they call it tapestry if they are, they're buying for their wall decor. So there can be very small nitty gritties. If you don't cover it, or if you don't let the customers know that those things about your product, it's very difficult to make sure that, your listing will be selling at the same pace as someone else's listings would sell. So all these things, things like material of your product, size of your product. So I'm working with one of the clients. They have 10 different sizes of table runners right now, and they have exactly the same main image for all their 10 table runners, even when it's a very small size or whether it's a large size. Now they are facing a huge issue with the returns, because people are buying that table runner assuming that it will be, fit on a large table, but because the size is small, they are not, able to figure it out. So now we are working with them to ensure that each and every size has a different image, so that customers can perceive the product in a very specific way.
Right.
Rather than, if you put the same table runner on a dining table, if it's a very small size, it won't even cover half of the dining table, you can understand, right?
Absolutely.
So all those things are very very critical to your content, and it can be only possible if you invest in right kind of images, right kind of A plus content, right kind of videos is something like which can be costly for a lot of brands, but I think at least all the 7 8 images should be top notch, and your A plus content should talk about everything that you can think a customer would be searching for your brand. And I think it's a very like very decent property to also talk about your brand. At times people only talk about the product, or they only talk about the brand. So
Right.
try to get an amalgamation of both in your A plus content, and try to also continuously update taking customers feedback. So now Amazon has also started giving customer reviews का एक वो लोग breakup दे देते हैं. Customers are talking about this theme in your product or any competitor product. So if you go to any listing on Amazon.com, they'll give you a overall picture that customers like the look and feel of this product. They don't like the price of the product, let's say. So if customers are talking about look and feel, try to cover look and feel majorly, or in your content. So Amazon is giving you data, try to act on it, so that you are talking, or you are basically trying to incorporate that feedback, and that will help you in long run. I think
I
it's
would like to
longer
add
monologue, but yeah, okay.
regarding the content
Yeah.
part. Ketan bhai rightly said about all these things, and my personal experience, which I have seen, is like one. This happened, quite a time where we got a negative feedback on one of the product for a client, and we realized this customer has mentioned, okay, this is not there in the product, and then we saw
Hmm.
the title, we saw the pictures, we realized we have not written it anywhere. Then
Hmm.
in some of the bullet points, somewhere something was mentioned which was not correct, which
Hmm.
is something जो normally मतलब हम नहीं देख सकते, या फिर हमें नहीं पता था, seller को भी नहीं पता, हमें भी नहीं
Yep.
पता. So US customer, they read it, they see everything thoroughly. Unlike
Yep.
India, a lot of purchases happens on the laptop, and when you sit on a laptop, the bullet points is one thing that you see on the top. But if you purchase it on the mobile, bullet points बहुत नीचे आते हैं, शायद वहाँ पे लोग नहीं पढ़ते. So we need to make sure that the content is right from this aspect. And second is we need to also make sure कि वो content से हमारे products index होते हैं. कहीं ना कहीं पे when customer searches with those particular set of keywords, वो वहाँ पे दिखता है. So we need to make sure that these things are in place.
Yep.
Correct. No, a very critical point, as both of you have highlighted, and Devanshu, you touched upon this particular point twice, that when you are listing a product, essentially you need to detail about the product, what is the pattern, feel, basic information and all. And US customers are particular about the same. And Ketan, as you rightly mentioned, that size piece with respect to table runner and all. And I can completely correlate to the same, because as a buyer, while I bought from Amazon India, but I have gone through that issue. That's something that I bought. In the image, it was shown for a larger product, but in reality, it was a smaller one. And same description piece when you are creating multiple listing for the same product, whether you are creating bundles or something like that, the header and other things, we need to be very, very careful. Once it has happened with me, I was buying a biscuit, and the heading was mentioning that four boxes, while in the detailing it was mentioned as one, but I just went by the header and realized I only received one. So these are the disconnect which can reduce your returns, particularly when merchants are dealing in cross border. The cost of return is very, very high, unlike domestic one. Your whole margin, forget about margin, your cost can completely go into the return cost. So this is very critical. Coming to another point, Devanshu, you touched upon the same with respect to ad cost and all. Uh, what's your take on using coupons, lightning deals, or bundles to attract more buyers? Because as we are talking about Black Friday sale, visibility is paid, not accidental, and it is very critical we plan well. Where are we putting up our money?
Correct. So, see, coupons, lightning deals, definitely these are some important things that needs to be taken care of. From a seller side, sometimes what we suggest is, let's say we have a listing of a bed sheet, right? There are four, five, six different sizes, then there are 8, 10 colors, right? So not every product can be sold on a lightning deal or on a discount by a coupon or all, because the P&L gets a hit, right? So what we suggest is, let's say white sells the most in a queen size or a king size. So
Hmm.
we try to make sure that our advertisement, maximum money on the advertisement is going on that particular child, right? That is the white queen. We have a deal running on the white queen, and there's a report called advertised ASIN report, or a product that has been purchased product report. So there you can see a lot of sellers, when they download their report, they see that, okay, they have advertised a product, but a customer have clicked on the a product, they have come on the page, but they have purchased b or c. So right, so cross sell in this manner happens on the platform. So definitely deals and coupons, it gives a better click. The click through improves via advertisements and organically as well. So it is definitely needed. Plus Amazon algorithm also puts the product or places the product somewhere or the other, like if they have some deals and coupons running on the particular product. So that's why it's very important as per me.
Yeah, I think
Understood.
just adding to this,
Yeah.
like if you're doing it for the first time, you don't have enough data to, understand what will be the overall impact. My recommendation would be try it across, your selection. Let's say you shortlist only 20% ASINs where you have margins, where you want to, run some promotions. So try to split it between a deal, a coupon, and let's say, a flat discounting. Okay, try all the three, four venues which Amazon provides you, because then you have data to understand that your category behaves in a very particular way and other categories may behave differently. So for first time sellers, you don't have enough data, you will at least learn that what's working for you, so that during next Black Friday, Cyber Monday, during next Prime Day, you know what to expect. On certain essence, increase the ads. On certain essence, try to reduce your pricing. On certain essence, run a deal. Certain essence, run a coupon. You have data points for all four. I think what Indian sellers do right now, I think they have a great product. To be honest, they have I think decently fair content nowadays. But the thing that Devanshu mentioned, no, they are not data backed a lot of times. As he mentioned, name of couple of reports. I'm not even sure when did our sellers last downloaded, their advertising reports and looked at data to understand that, which keywords, which timing of the day these keywords convert, how much am I paying for which particular keyword at what frequency. So all those things, I think once you start looking at data, you will be much more equipped to take the right kind of decisions. So whatever discounts also you're running, try to understand whether your click-through rate improved, whether your conversion improved, whether your traffic improved, what were the matrices that were impacted, and how much that eventually led to your P&L, how much that led to your overall sales. So try to look at everything from a data-backed point of view. I think that's essentially how the business will be more profitable in long run if you look at all these data points.
Because
So,
this is also like just adding it one thing here. It's very important because see, we make some changes in our advertisement, we make some changes in our content. It might give us result, it might not give us result, right? But this is what we have seen from the Indian seller side, that we continue doing it irrespective of whatever is happening. So the A/B testing and other features of Amazon, people are not using it. So we need to make sure that to make changes, wait for it to see whether it's giving results or not. If it is not, then further, make more changes. But definitely, you should know what is working on the account.
And 1 to 2 weeks, I think, would be the recommended timeline to run any experiment. So if you're doing any experiment, 7 to 14 days time period, I think you should give to fetch the right kind of results.
Correct.
in this case, Ketan, I would also like to understand one aspect. While you spoke about newer seller, how they should do it, but there would be sellers who have been doing it for long, and pretty much they may have arrived at a number. Okay, I want to spend this much to increase my sales or sell X number, X quantity that I have already stocked in the overseas warehouses. Essentially, how sellers should plan their ad budgets and bids when the competition is skyrocketing, when Black Friday or Christmas sale is going on, and how do they manage it in real time?
Yep. I think, we already know that the traffic during this particular period will at least be 2.5 to 3x overall on the platform during the entire 1 month cycle, starting from 20th November till 20th December. So during this particular period, if you know already the traffic is going to be 2 to 3x, try to at least increase your budgets, because you are also anticipating at least same number of units getting sold in the same proportion of the traffic increase. So that's going to be one. Second, we do see that a lot of cost per clicks, or the CPC as metric as we call it, increases during Q4, because a lot of new brands also start to promote their products heavily. A lot of top brands want to retain their position, so everybody tries to increase their bidding in the same proportion by 20-25%. However, my general recommendation to the brands, at least on this call, would be to first increase the budget. Try to see if your current cost per click itself is fair enough to give you right kind of traffic throughout the day. If you are having 2x of budget at the same CPC, is it sufficient? Is it running perfectly fine for you during the day? Because what will happen is, the moment you start increasing your cost per click or your bids during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we have seen sellers getting out of budget within first 4 or 5 hours, because the traffic rush is so much that you don't anticipate that you will get out of budget within the first few hours. So try to see for first 4 or 5 hours whether you're getting the right kind of traffic during Black Friday, Cyber Monday at your current CPCs. If you are getting it, well and good. If you are not getting the right kind of jump that you were anticipating versus your regular daily sales, if you're not getting 2 to 2.5x of sales during those first 4 or 5 hours, then try to increase your bids by 10-15% and observe for next 4 or 5 hours. I think during those couple of days you have to be on your toes for sure to understand how your advertising is reacting. One more mistake, again, I think Devanshu, you had asked that question, I'm just adding one more mistake people do during these times is trying to capture a lot of generic keywords without high intent. So let's say my example of a generic keyword would be, let's say, a keyword like a bag, or a toy. So someone who's searching for a bag, he may be searching for a toiletry bag, a toilet bag, a messenger bag, or a laptop bag. We don't know the intent as much, but the
In
keyword.
all searches, that will start reflecting
Yeah,
and
so if you if
merchant
you
does
if you try to bid on a keyword like bag, you will understand that within the first hour your budgets will go for a toss. You may not convert anything because the intent was not even clear. Go for very specific keywords that are very relevant to your category. If you're selling a laptop bag, try to bid for keywords like laptop bag for office, laptop bag for vacation, laptop bag. Be very, very specific in your approach, because even those keywords will have a very high volume during the particular season. So my recommendation is to audit again your ads via the reports and everything to understand what converts for you. Try to stay away from generic traffic as much as possible if you want to be judicious with your spending.
And one more thing here, like during the Black Friday, right? The first half or the first day or the first quarter is very important. Then Saturday, Sunday go a little flat. Then on Cyber Monday, the maximum sale happens, as per Indian time in the morning when the sale is going to end. So if a brand which is already there amongst the top of the sellers, top of the products in this that particular category, they need to go aggressive during this time. But a brand which is new, where the rating and reviews are not too high or the rating and reviews are not very good, maybe this is not the right time to advertise aggressively. They can reduce the budget. They can do a day parting where they can start their advertisement maybe let's say at 12 midnight on Black Friday. as per India time. So that, a lot of CPCs might be reduced, and then they would be able to show product at a little lower prices.
Understood. Interesting. And Devansh, you have been an expert, particularly in this space, that pay per click, how to manage the same. And these insights have been really useful. So our advice collectively to the merchants is that plan early, guard your ACOS, and push your highest converting ASIN. That's very, very important to, win the gold rush. I'm coming back to the topic again. And moving to the next section, while we spoke about how to manage the listing piece, start early so that you are able to manage it well. You start testing the spends also in advance so that you are able to know what is happening, what is not happening. Eliminate your older campaigns and all, which may have been, set up during previous season or
Yeah.
previous festive breaks. At the same time, how do you see, the payments playing a critical part at BRISKPE? Like we offer cross-border payments to Amazon and multiple other marketplaces, even for B2B sales. How often do you hear, Ketan, coming to you on this, that they receive USD, GBP, Euro, or any other payment? They face delays, they have FX-related issues, and they face compliance hurdles. What are some of the common issues that you may have heard of?
I think payments related challenges, I would bucketize it in, let's say, one can be Amazon specific challenges, one can be compliance or regulatory challenges. So when it comes to Amazon, we have seen that, there is a credit card which is mandatory information for all the sellers, when they start selling on Amazon Global. Amazon asks for a credit card. I remember one of the instances, during holiday period, one of my sellers' credit card expired. They didn't notice because they would have shared, the credit card details with Amazon 3 years ago when they signed up for the account. But what happens is once the credit card gets suspended, your ads may stop running immediately as soon as, your credit card information is not valid in Amazon system. So at times what might happen is, let's say Amazon also asks for, regular verification nowadays to the sellers. Like there is some Consumer Act in US, so they try to get regular intervals, whether your business information has changed or not. So they do send those pop-ups into your selling account. At times, sellers continuously, skip all these, pop-ups, thinking that, it may not hamper their account performance. But Amazon does take action if there is any information, that you're not compliant with while selling in US. So try to ensure that, and that will definitely hamper your payments. If you are not compliant or you've not shared that information with Amazon about your business background, then Amazon will hold your payments. So that, and or if you don't have a valid credit card, Amazon will hold your payments. So try to ensure that from Amazon standpoint, these two parameters are in place for sure. When it comes to regulatory or compliance side risks, I would recommend that try to have one maybe backup account, a USD account, because what may happen is RBI compliances continuously evolve over a period of time. I think more than we would know, at least in this regard for sure, because you have been in payments for last couple of decades. So I think maybe related to RBI compliances, or let's say there's a company which may not be PACP compliant, and I read about some guidelines recently from RBI that for cross-border payment processing, you may require or you have to have a PACP license. There can be those kind of players which may not be compliant. They are currently, operating in that gray area, but sooner or later, RBI may come heavily on them, and it may happen that your payments get stuck. I mean, it is again inherent risk. So maybe you can cover a couple of more.
Definitely, and one of the critical aspect you highlighted, and this is what we speak to a lot of our sellers. Amazon, when it started, how it started, the country was living in a different, regulatory regime. And over last 3 years, there have been a lot of changes. How RBI looks at the payments, which players should do it. See, for all benefit, even we come across such discussions that, sellers tell us that, okay, such overseas company based out of China or say in US, still processing my payment. But the fact is, laws of the land have changed. Those companies were operating during an earlier regime. They are listed on Amazon, hence Amazon is showing them on the platform. But there are RBI guidelines, and the most unfortunate or most critical part of this cross-border payment is it is covered under Foreign Exchange Management Act.
FEMA.
Enforcement Directorate derives all the powers from FEMA. And we have seen any violation to FEMA gets covered under PMLA, and anything under PMLA is non-bailable offense. So these things should not be taken very lightly. While your overseas payment player has nothing to do with the Indian regulation, they may still settle the payment. But tomorrow you are in India, your regulator will come to you, your enforcement directorate will come to you and question you. So it is very critical that you start planning in advance. Of course, during peak season, nobody wants to, experiment with the season sale, but it is very critical that at least you start adding local domestic regulated player. We work with a lot of Amazon sellers. You can try us. We allow facilitate sales on other marketplaces also. If not primary, at least you keep it as secondary at this juncture so that your store front does not get impacted. At the same time, you start, moving your non-marketplace sales through a regulated player. So this is very critical. I would just like to say, not knowing law of the land cannot be excused anywhere. And last 6 months, we have heard lot of storefronts have been suspended by Amazon itself after recognizing that these players have not been there. So Amazon is also taking action, but Amazon has business interest at their heart. So they are not suspending everything overnight, but action will be taken. So it is better you plan, just like you're planning your sales, manage your payments also in the same manner.
By the way, I'll just add one, I would highly encourage every participant in this call to go through the recent crackdown that China's government has done on Amazon sales in US, by the way.
Absolutely.
So China's government has recently issued, a notice to Amazon that quarterly filing of each and every seller's returns has to be given to the Chinese government. And this is as recent as, a couple of weeks ago or last week only. So now Amazon will share each and every information about the sellers to the government, because the government wants to understand, whether you are getting the money from right kind of sources, whether, you are creating right kind of invoices for exports and everything. So they are coming heavily on, these regulatory compliance, because a lot of, shady things were happening in the, gamut of, e-commerce exports in China. And I think in India, if it's much better to be safer than, sorry, in the end.
It has started. It has
It has
started.
started.
I would
So,
say we keep hearing a lot of things,
yeah,
we do not hear near election time and all,
yeah,
but we keep hearing about ED raids and all those things happening. As I mentioned, anything under PMLA is a non-bailable offense, and PMLA gets power from FEMA. So knowingly, unknowingly, you later on you cannot say I didn't know laws of the land.
yeah,
So better be prepared, better work with regulated entity, and it's not only BRISKPE, there are multiple regulated
of
entity.
course.
You get a chance to evaluate and work with any one of them, but
So,
work with.
would you have a recommendation? How can people figure out which are these entities which are regulated and not regulated? Is there a way for them to
Just go
validate?
to RBI website. In fact, beautiful question, Ketan. RBI, if they search RBI regulated PACB entities, there would be sponsored items and all, but go to RBI link directly. It has categorically put players into three places. One, those who were operating as OPGSP earlier, and they continue to operate because they are adhering to RBI guideline, whether they have received license as PACB or not, but they can continue to operate. There is another category which essentially says that entities who have applied but cannot operate as of now. So BRISKPE has been giving this services historically. So we have received our in principle approval also, but we fall in continue to operate. But at the same time, there are players whose name you will see they cannot operate until unless they get a final authorization. And if you don't see name in any of the category, you should never deal with such player. They have not even applied to RBI as per RBI guideline. July 2024, they should have ceased their operation in India. So that's the legal standing.
Or I think that's also
One question, sorry,
yeah.
guys. Someone asked, for USA is VAT required now as we get notification. So Kindle replied back correctly that from a customer point of view, if they buy any product, then the Amazon collects the VAT and they deposit it to the government. So a normal seller, they don't have to do anything there, at least from the US side. But one important thing is, if your entity, if you are selling from your Indian account, right, please update your VAT, your GST certificate, GST number in backend on Amazon. Otherwise, what Amazon does is, like, let's say we have an advertisement invoice of, let's say, $500. Amazon is going to deduct 18%. They're going to take 18% extra. That is the treaty between India and US. So we need to make sure that we have updated our GST certificate in the backend so that Amazon doesn't deduct this 18% from our account. And if some of the participants here, if they have not updated their VAT information in the backend, please do it now. Raise a case with Amazon that in the prior invoices that you have received, for the advertisement, Amazon has deducted 18% GST, and they are going to refund you back the complete amount. So
Yeah.
check your advertisement invoices and see whether GST has been additional VAT has been charged or not. If yes, update your GST or VAT number in the backend and then raise the case so you can get the like refund of all that amount that has been done in the past.
It's always better to be clear with respect to tax and regulatory compliance to
Yeah.
avoid any post facto issues. And since we are talking about post facto issues and coming to the end of session as well, some of the aspects that Devanshu you would like to mention, what sort of post-season analysis that a seller should do? What follow-up should seller focus on?
Okay, so like after the season, like once the season is over, right? Obviously, whatever sales you have done, whatever inventory is lying in Amazon FBA, during October, November, December, the storage fees is goes on the higher side, right? The normal storage fees on the products. Now, from January onward, it is again going to come back. So we need to make sure that realize that okay, now you have to pay little less in terms of the storage fees. Second important thing is to make sure to see what is the aging, what kind of inventory is there, which is above 6 months, so that if you are paying any surcharge on those inventories which you couldn't liquidate during the December period, so take some call on those inventory, either do a removal or run it on a discount, or see if the rating and reviews are bad or the product is not accepted in US. Take a final call how to get rid of those inventory. So that is very important to make sure to plan it up. Then summer is approaching, let's say from March, April, May, like during this period, the summer season comes in. So if you have product, if you have hoodies, let's say, jacket, which is there in Amazon FBA, now the product is left. So in January, February, you have to take a call to liquidate those products. Liquidate as in like you have to sell those products off. Otherwise, like you have to, keep that in stock for next 6 months. So those are the kind of plan that you have to make, because again, the shipment time and the planning time takes 45 30 days, 2 months 3 months time. So you have to plan everything in advance for the next quarters.
Yeah, I think just adding to this, just try to look at your inventory. And now I think the Christmas related items obviously will see a drop in sales. So remove all those keywords again, which you might have added, during this particular period. Try to focus on keywords related to New Year sales, Valentine's Day. So, like example, let's say you are selling, Christmas themed, merchandise, or some products which are relevant for Christmas. Something may also be relevant, let's say, for a Valentine's Day, but the kind of content you may want to have for Valentine's Day might be slightly different than what you might want for Christmas. So the kind of setup you want to show in the images, the kind of bullet points you need to write will also vary even for the same products. And your advertising strategy will also change from, let's say, Christmas or holiday related keywords to the keywords which are related to Valentine's Day or New Year's Day. So try to, I think from that lens. Now customers behavior of purchase is changing. Accordingly, you need to change your ads and content strategy as well.
So staying on the post-season analysis itself, Ketan, well, you mentioned about how to look at or plan for the next season. How can sellers or merchants can turn into a one-time buyer into repeat buying behavior?
Okay, I think everybody would love this. If that happens, like I think all
Because you
want
have
to.
already spent on that. So how do you convert it
Yeah,
again
so
and
I
again?
think that's a very valid and I think important question which people at times tend to not think about, but they should for sure, because the customer still belongs to Amazon. But now Amazon has provided avenues where you can target the repeat audiences. Specifically, if you're dealing in categories which enable subscribe and save, things like supplements, beauty, personal care, grocery, all these items allow customers to have a subscription, where they can buy the same product without having to come to the product page again. It will be auto subscribe. To try to give in options for subscribe and save coupons if your category allows you to enable those aspects. If your category does not allow those, or even if it allows you subscribe and save, there is an additional opportunity to tap into these customers via the Amazon Marketing Cloud. So that's something recently Amazon has introduced, which is called AMC. You will be able to see this in your advertising or campaign manager section. There is now a feature called AMC. You can build audiences where you can choose that if I want to target audience which has visited my product page in the last 90 days, or who has added my product but not purchased in the last 90 days, or who has purchased from me earlier. So you already spent something earlier to get the customer either to view your page or add to cart or buy your product. Now you can create this kind of audience using AMC, and each and every campaign of yours you can add a new multiplier for this particular audiences in the audience tab. So if you go to your campaign manager, look at any particular campaign, there is now a tab called audience tab, and in that audience tab you can add this AMC audience, and that's very recent. I think this feature got launched in the last month or so may not be accessible or used by a lot of sellers right now.
Interesting. And that's an end to my questions. While we
And one more thing, for the repeat customer, if you want to do is maybe you can go to the brand tailored promotions. That is one section in your advertising tab where you can create some extra coupons, extra discounts to people who have already purchased your product, and now you want to launch something else and you want to show it to them at a discounted price. People who have hit the product but they have not purchased it, people who have seen the product, they have purchased it, now you want to show them or give them additional discounts. So those are certain things that can also be done from the brand tailored side.
So are there additional tools or modules that Amazon is planning or may have released for some of the sellers which can help them make better use of analytics or something like that?
Brand analytics in itself is such a vast tool. Like, to be honest, not everyone, or you don't need Helium 10 to be at a very big scale right now. Well, I see a lot of content, lot of keywords. If I want to check the historical sales, let's say who has purchased, a certain set of keywords, what are the top keywords during December 2024. So that also I can check from the brand analytics tool. So it gives a lot of different area. It also gives like on which keyword which product has been clicked the most. So you can compare and you can see, okay, 2024 में कौन सा product customer click करते थे इस keyword के ऊपर जाने के बाद. So accordingly you can plan your things in advance, for the upcoming season.
Also, I think very recently I noticed this change yesterday, by the way, like as soon as yesterday. So there is a tool which Amazon has recently launched. It's called the reporting tool within the campaign manager. So if you go to measurement and reporting tab in the campaign manager, you will see that now there is a reporting tab where you can create reports, and you can personalize your own set of attributes that you want to get in those reports. So let's say you only want to look at 10 matrices, so Amazon will provide you all those 10 matrices in a very simple view to do all the analytics on. So I have also not explored it as much because I noticed it yesterday, but I was plugging and playing it today. So I would recommend people to keep a track of all the new changes that you observe in the Seller Central, because as Divanshu mentioned, now it's no longer about a Helium 10 or Jungle Scout or any other third-party tool that you may want to use. Amazon's own data is so rich and so like precise that you should take the right kind of decisions basis that data.
Fantastic. That's great. And we have come to the end of the session. We'll check if there are any pending questions that we have.
There are certain questions I would like to answer. Like, first is we were onboarded, but after a few months, no support, need to know how to manage account as need help. We have taken that for UK and Germany too. So if it is about the UK and Germany marketplace, again, see, Amazon doesn't provide account management services, right? So Amazon's main thing is one, to launch a seller, to give them a basic tool, basic assistance. This happens in India, not everywhere in the world as well. So they are not the one who are going to run the show for us. We have to do it on our own. Our learning, our efforts needs to be there. So if you have taken the VAT for UK and Germany, so definitely it's a good market. And after the tariff and all, a lot of sellers have moved to UK and Germany side, and they are doing pretty well there. So you need to understand how to scale the business, what all products you have launched, how to, in Germany, like the language is a barrier, right? Running advertisement. Then from Germany, running ads for Italy, Spain, France, Netherlands, that can also be done. So leverage that. But again, we have to see the account to understand and explain, okay, what needs to be done. But Amazon, again, they are not the one who are going to handle the account. They are the one who is going to, help you onboarding. to do the basic checks to make sure that the account goes live, the advertisement part, the content part, all these things needs to be done from the seller side.
I think your company has all the capabilities to support sellers with this, right?
Yes.
Correct.
If you
And
want
that
to
is
pitch.
and that is what we are doing from last 12 years. Yes.
So after this call, we will share our coordinates. If you have any queries related to payments, you can speak to us. Devanshu and Ketan have been there managing. Ketan comes from Amazon background, working in this domain now. He knows in and out of Amazon. Devanshu, having worked with so many merchants, working on PPC and strategizing the marketplace sales, he can help you. And at BRISKPE, cross-border payment, we are authorized for export and import payments both. And the screenshot I was talking about, Ketan, has been put up by the BRISKPE team over there. The RBI's screenshot, the screenshot which is available on RBI site. So wrapping up this session, I thank both of you a lot for sharing such practical seller-focused input. And I think we went into every aspect of planning, execution, and post-execution analysis. Anybody needs more detail can connect with us directly. Our team will share the detail. If I would like to talk about one clear takeaway, it's like success in the holiday season is planned and not accidental. So you need to prepare listing, invest smartly in ads, and just as importantly, make sure your international payments reach you quickly and cost effectively. Not today. It should not hound you in future as well. Thank you. Thanks everyone for
Thanks
joining
everyone
this
for joining.
session. And thank you, Ketan and
Thank you, everyone.
Devanshu
Thanks,
again.
Sindhu.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.